This kind of polymer chain that rises to the heads of our states to serve them. And we came to break the chain. And it is inconceivable for them. They approached us and asked us to enter the ranks to be part of the elite that must lead Africa. Because they have an elite formed and trained that must follow, that are embedded in this chain. We refused to enter their ranks. And from then on, the hostilities began.
Hi, this is Janetta. And I don't know whether I'm going to jump, shout, what I'm going to do, but I'm telling you, it is kicking, it's a kicking. And we got the videos to keep you updated to find out just what's kicking. So you just, you sit back and relax, you're going to learn something. So hang in there because revolution is on the way. Now, hey, before I get started, I just get so excited. But if you like the video, please let me know you like it and comment and share it for sure. You need to share it because this stuff, let me tell you something, you might not know how important it is, but it's your backyard, my backyard is coming up. And give me some comments. Please don't be so nice because I'm old. Okay, now, let me tell you something. A lot of things have been going on over here, but you only hear that there was a coup. You never really hear all of it. You never really hear that foreign governments and bases, French and American bases, and their ambassadors are being kicked out of the Sahel. Yes, that region. The countries that are kicking them out are these three: Burkina Faso, Niger, which they call sometimes Niger, but it's Niger, and also Mali. Now, these countries have made an alliance together, that they're going to work hard to work together. They're uniting like we should unite. They're putting away aside all kind of tribal things and disagreements, but they're united because they got one enemy. They got one thing they're fighting against, and that is neo-colonialism, which is imperialism. Okay, so let me get started. This young man, Ibramim Traore of Burkina Faso. Now, there's three young men, each of different countries. But the young man of Burkina Faso, which is about 35 years old right now, he is the one that really lays it down. Let's just say he's the speaker. And for some of the things he's saying, Patrice Lumumba didn't say half of those things. And you know what they did to him. They dissolved his body and they have a tooth that's left. So I don't know what in the world they might be planning for this young man, because he is telling it like it is and he's bringing it to the front. And he's about it. So I want you to listen very closely to what he's saying. Is important to get an understanding. You're not going to read this in your local newspaper. It's not going to be on MSNBC, ABC, CNN, Fox News. You're not going to see it on BBC, Al Jazeera. You're not going to see it on those controlled medias. But you got it right here. Yeah, let's get started. Listen to this real close and we'll talk about it.
Comrades of the various governments of the AES, dear participants of the first summit of the heads of state of the IAS, good morning. It is a great pleasure and an honor to be here today. A blessed date, a memorable date, the CIG 2024 here in Niamey. First of all, let us give thanks to God who allowed this day to be. We thank Him for everything He has done for us until today and everything He will do for the people of the AES. Let me also pay tribute to the Nigerian people, this people who have suffered so much since the advent of the CIG and who continue to stand up. Thank you to the Nigerians who gave us a warm welcome yesterday when we swept the soil of our homeland here. You are more than friends. You are more than neighbors. You are our brothers. You are our sisters. Because brotherhood goes beyond friendship or neighborhood. We have the same blood that flows in our veins. In our veins flows the blood of these valiant warriors who fought and reserved this land that we call Mali, Burkina, and Niger. In our veins flows the blood of these valiant warriors who helped the whole world get rid of Nazism and many other plagues. In our veins flows the blood of these valiant warriors who were deported from Africa to Europe, America, Asia, or elsewhere, and who helped build these states during slavery. In our veins flows the blood of worthy men, robust men, standing men. And for this, let us be proud and be grateful for being descendants of the AES, Africa, this continent that has suffered so much and continues to suffer because of imperialists. These imperialists have only one cliche in mind. Africa is the empire of slaves. This is how they see Africa. For them, Africans belong to them. Our lands belong to them. Our subsoils belong to them. They have never been able to change the logic until today. This is deplorable. But how do they proceed? Unfortunately, it is since the 1960s when these 6 miracles of independence were given to Africa. They just placed local valets at the head, according to them, of their sub-prefecture to be able to continue to feed them. These local valets that we are going to call slaves of Salon have no other purpose than to seek to live like the master, to satisfy the master, and to do everything that the master dictates to them. They steal, they plunder our states, they bring everything to the master, and their wealth is kept with the master. They do everything to live like the master and always satisfy him. When the master commands, they execute. Do you know who these slaves of Salon are? Well, we are going to explain to you what they are. These are individuals who have no dignity, who have no morals, who have no personality. But the slave master has always known how to identify these individuals. They are always ready to betray their brother to satisfy the master. They have betrayed us since independence, and others continue to betray us to the benefit of their master. These individuals continue against all odds to plunder Africa, to help the master plunder Africa. They like to say it every year in their economic poll that Burkina is the poorest country, that Mali is the poorest country, that Niger is the poorest country. We are ranked among the last. Very well if we are as poor as they say, but when the time has come to take responsibility, we have asked this master to leave the place. Why don't they want to leave? When we take the case of Niger, for more than 40 years, some countries have been exploiting uranium to produce energy at home. From Ottawa to Paris, the streets are illuminated. It is the light. But in Niger, it is the darkness that has served us. When you leave our states, our soils are full of precious metals, such as gold. But often there is not even the slightest access road to reach the areas where they exploit gold, even less certain basic social services. This is why we have decided to revolt and to take the fate of our countries into our own hands. There are many other examples, but when we decided this way, well, we were approached by some saloon slaves to pass on the message of their master, because they had created this kind of polymer chain that rises to the heads of our states to serve them. And we came to break the chain, and it is inconceivable for them. They approached us and asked us to enter the ranks to be part of the elite that must lead Africa, because they have an elite formed and trained that must follow, that are embedded in this chain. We refused to enter their ranks, and from then on, the hostilities began. They made several mercenaries, deformers, agents to come down to the Sahel to lead barbaric, cowardly attacks against our people, hoping to revolt them. In addition to these attacks on the ground, the communication attacks, the manipulation, the disinformation are full in their ranks. But the people of the Sahel have understood that we will never be able to manipulate them again.
Now you hear what he's saying. Those he calls the master, he means actually the West, imperialist, where they want to hold on to things and they have their puppets that are working for them. He calls them slaves, but they're head of various governments here in Africa, several countries. And you're going to hear one of these. And we have held this one in high esteem, thinking that he was trying to build his country and to call those that had been enslaved back home. He's just one of many of them. But when you hear what he has to say, then think about what you have heard. Now, the AES is an alliance that these 3 countries, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, formed. It's an alliance that they formed together to defeat in unity the people, the adversaries that are coming against them. And the adversaries that are coming the hardest are other Africans from other countries, other leaders. They don't like it because these young men broke away from the neo-colonialism policies. They broke away from them. Now just follow me a little bit. Listen very closely. Have you ever been in a situation where you tried to build and the very people you were trying to build for, they start pulling you down? It's almost like prisoners wanting to fight to stay in jail. But I want you to listen very closely to what this man is saying about Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. This is a brother. Okay, listen.
Today, Russian mercenaries are on our northern border. Burkina Faso has now entered into an arrangement to go along with Mali in employing the Wagner forces there. To what extent we can have you as a partner in confronting these threats? It is very important that ECOWAS and the West African area remains a democratic space. There's a reason for the actions we took over the coup d'etats in Burkina Faso, in Mali, and in Guinea. And ECOWAS has been very consistent that there are enemies of democracy who are working hard in West Africa today. And therefore it's important that we bring that matter to your notice and see to what extent we can engage you as a reliable partner in the pushback of those forces.
Now that you've heard the president of Ghana, he's talking about a pushback on Burkina Faso, Mali, and also Niger. They're going to come against their own. They're going to come against 3 countries that decided that we've had enough and we're not taking anymore. How would you like to live in a country that's rich but yet poor? And then your friend, your brother, fight for you to stay poor by helping those that have become rich from real poverty. It's not a joke. It's a fact. That's what's happening here in Africa. But there's a breakaway. So I want you to continue to listen to what this young man, who is the leader of one of those coups that he's talking about, that he said is against democracy. And then after this video, I want you to write me and let me know, what is democracy? What are they calling democracy? Is democracy where you're poor? Is democracy where you're living in the 10th century and this is the 21st century? What is democracy? Is democracy where somebody can use you and abuse you? Is democracy where someone can take everything you have and leave you with nothing? If that is what democracy is, I want you to answer that question. So let's finish hearing and listening to this young man of valor, one determined to make a change and hoping that this change spreads all throughout Africa. Okay, listen to Ibrahim.
They know where they come from, they know what they do, and they know where they are going. We will no longer allow this. People are awake, and people are fighting today, not for ourselves, but for future generations. And thank you all for the fight that has been fought. This never makes us cry. We will not tremble. We will face. We will fight for real independence, for our freedom. Because to frighten the people of the Sahel, these individuals have only 3 words in their mouths: democracy, freedom, human rights. Of course, their local values are only elected in a democratic, free, and transparent process according to their values. What is more normal than to impose this on us? Because they are the ones who write the rules. Very well. We have decided to take responsibility. This is why, on June 26, 2023, when Niger decided to turn the page, the slaves of Salon and their masters got on their horses. They put their local values forward and decided to wage a war against the Nigerian people. We therefore said anyone who dares to take up arms in Nigeria will face us, because we will wage a war without mercy to the last drop of blood for anyone who dares to attack our states. This decision we made yesterday is current today and will be current tomorrow and forever. Thus, we won the EIS on September 16, 2023, in a mutual defense architecture, but we felt it was necessary to extend and expand the EIS architecture. What brings us together today must allow us to go to other areas in addition to defense, including finance and economy, infrastructure, health, education, and so on. I therefore wish this moment to be for us a story that we will write for the EIS, but above all, for Africa and for the whole world. May God illuminate each and every one of us. May God inspire us in the tasks entrusted to us. And above all, when we do all our work, may we have only one thing in mind, the supreme interest of our populations. On this, we once again pray, good God, that He accompanies us all in our different tasks, that He protects our fighters, who, thanks to them, allow us to sit here and exchange about the future of our states. So once again, thank you, Nigerian people. Be united and united as one, people of the EAS, the homeland, or the death.
This video that we're listening to, remember and think about it. He's talking to his troops. He's talking to his people. He's keeping them enlightened on why and what they're doing and why they're doing it, and the people that are coming against them. The people in the West, the other African countries, called the ECOWAS. The ECOWAS actually was gathering up arms and thinking about going to war against these three countries because they broke away from France. Can you imagine? The French even put tanks on their banks in Ghana for them to pursue and start the war against these three countries. But the citizenry of most of these countries did not want to fight their brother, especially the country of Nigeria, which is part and brother to Niger. There's two different. There's a Niger, and a Niger. And it sounds so close together, the names, because at one time they were all one until colonialism came about. But the tribes that are very, very prominent in Nigeria are also very, very prominent in Niger, the Hausa tribe. So they would be actually fighting against their brother. Their brother is seeking freedom. They would be set up in arms to come in opposition to their brothers for the French, because their brothers, Niger, kicked the French out, kicked the ambassador out and say, no, we don't want your bases. We don't want you to be here. We're taking back our uranium. We're taking back all our wealth. We're going to start making benefits and exploiting the benefits of our own country rather than you exploiting it. So that means that's tough talk, especially to imperialists. A fight against neocolonialism? Why would you do that? We'll be your daddies. We'll be the imperial power over you. We'll take care of you. We'll provide you. Yes. We'll provide for you. After all, haven't we sent you aid while we took your gold, your oil, and your other minerals? We've been really nice to you. Okay. You just think about it. This is what's going on over here. This is what's happening in this part of the world. Africa is rising, and they're speaking out as never before. So listen. Okay, thank you for your time, and I hope you're inspired, and I hope you're listening to this, and make sure you share it. Now, Blacks at Radio, hey, we come to you on Saturday at 8 o'clock Costa Rican time, but you can look blacksofradio.com and look for the schedule, and it'll tell you exactly what time we come on in your neighborhood. But you won't want to miss it. Hey, this is the turn of the century, and for those that God is alive and he is rising up, and his people have been scattered, but they are coming forth in power, and in strength. Let God arise and his enemies be scattered. I say this, let the gods arise, the kings and queens arise, and let their enemies be scattered. Oh, talk to you later. Hey, this is Jamila, and you're watching Africa Speak. Oh.